the reason I went to Facebook, dummy. Duh. Birthdays. Hey, shoot. Yeah, we'll have another show by then. Looking for. Yeah, and there is no birthdays that I can tell, and I don't remember before today. So, and you can't go back. So. I don't think so. I'll check just to be sure. I don't see anything. Way to go. Now, if it was me, I'd be guaranteed that damn thing would bruise. So. Then people would be wondering if I was getting beat up on or something. Nope, just butts. Swear to God. Uh-huh. Right? Oh, yeah. No, I got you. I've noticed since I moved from sitting close to the TV, because of course the motion sickness, to sitting back further on the bed, even with my glasses on, I'm like, oh, I definitely need to go see the eye doctor and get some better glasses, because this is terrible. So I'm squinting to read stuff on the screen, and it's like, oh, geez. Nope, I don't see any questions. Talking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I have a lot of cats. The Cardinals lose today. Heard that. Okie dokie. That's good to be. Lawnmower swing back in. Ooh. Alright, thank God. I like being a girl, even if I am slightly tomboyish. Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly? I think we're just getting started. Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
Let's do this indeed. Today is August 25th, 2024. You're coming live from the West Wing in Roseville, California. Also in parts Missouri unknown.
Right.
It's episode 799 of the Overseas Connection podcast. Your one-stop shop for video game light news. Because, let's face it, unless I'm here, you don't necessarily get like really good quality video game news. Yes, shots fired, Robin Tate. But you'll also get just fun banter, and that's our main thing. We talk about all kinds of stuff here. So strap in, get ready. It's going to be a fun ride today. Just the two of us, Kim Woods.
Howdy, I'm here. So it's a lawnmower, if you can hear that in the background. That's mowing the yard.
I cannot hear anything.
Wow.
Thankfully, noise cancellation technology has
It
improved.
works.
Yes.
Well, I've got it turned
but-
up on high, so hopefully,
Okay. Well, it's working. I hear nothing except for
Good.
the smooth sound of Kim Wood's voice.
That's the first time that was said. Anyway.
I'm Greg DeLacy. Gamertag
You
Murphy's
are.
Law, OC _ Murphy's Law on Twitter. Yes, Twitter. Elon, change it back.
Please.
Let's see. We do this every Sunday, Kim.
We
8
do.
p.m. 8 p.m. in the UK. 4 p.m. 3 p.m. on the East Coast. I don't know. I always want to just put 4 p.m. because that was our old time. But no, we're an hour earlier.
Yeah.
And this, Kim, honestly,
Mhm.
we say this was for the UK. But let's face
Right.
it, this was for you and I because it's now 2 p.m. in the Central Time Zone
Right.
and 12 p.m. on the West Coast, Best Coast.
Mhm.
And you know what that means, Kim?
What's that mean?
By the time the show wraps up, we get to watch our football teams play.
Right.
So that's what this is all about.
Plus, in the wintertime, I don't have to do the chores in the dark, which is nice. So
Kim has nothing to do with you in the wintertime. It's all about football. Selfishly, this
nothing
was the
wrong
move.
with that either. With the way the Cardinals been playing lately, I'm ready for football. So
Well, there you go.
Right.
I'm ready for some. I can't say postseason baseball yet,
right.
but the Padres have been making a push. They've been playing really well.
Mhm.
They dropped a couple games this past couple with the Mets, but
right.
we're like right there, pushing it. It's the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres, and they're all like within I think 4 games of one another.
There you go.
I fucking hate the Dodgers.
I don't blame you.
Kind of hate the Cardinals too, but I won't say that out loud. No, wait.
It's okay. We're not doing very good. So
No, that's all right.
it's not like I don't think they're going to happen. I don't think they're going to have a postseason.
Hey, I
so.
lived through years and years of the taco wrapper Padres.
Right.
You don't know what I'm referencing? Look it up. There's old uniforms that look like Taco Bell wrappers. Anyway, what are we doing, Kim? What are we do? We're talking about stuff today. We are on Twitch. We're on YouTube. So come join us live. Like Boomer should already be here.
I know. He's
yet
supposed to be.
late, but that's
Right.
okay. Boomer, longtime listener. We love him. But yeah, we do this live on the videos, on the streams. But then we'll do an audio version of this podcast.
Indeed.
And
And I will eventually post it. unlike last
eventually,
week.
yes. Yeah. It all happens in
right.
due time, but it does get out. It does happen. So you can
Right.
then listen to us as you're doing your favorite Richard Simmons workout.
Great.
Um,
May
and
he
yeah.
rest in peace.
Oh, but his videos live on forever.
They do.
I mean, it's like Bob Ross,
Yep.
just there, fluffy
Yep.
hair and all. Okay. I suppose we don't have any birthdays to celebrate.
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay. We certainly are not celebrating political stuff.
Nope.
We're celebrating life. I think we are.
I think so.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
All right. So, Kim, we'll do a little back and forth. We'll keep it
Sounds good.
lively,
Okay.
so don't blurt out your whole life story. I know
I'll
you want
try.
to do that, but let's not do that. Let's refrain a little bit and let's talk about, well, the first thing that comes to mind is diamonds, and I don't know why. So please help me out. Help me understand why I should be caring about diamond.
Okay. Well, Diamond, if you can't guess, I mean, it's me, so this should give you an idea to start with, but she's a cat. And I have a cat named Diamond. She's black and white, and the reason her name is Diamond is because on her nose, she's got a little black patch that looks like a diamond shape. Although, to be fair, most of the time we just call her Fuzzy Butt because she's long-haired, so she's
Okay.
Fuzzy Butt. Anyway, I
It's a
noticed...
nickname I gave to Robin, by the way.
Probably a good one. I noticed, thanks to the litter robot, that it seemed like there was a cat that had been going back like repeatedly with like within minutes of each other. And I mean, it'd be like a half a dozen times or even a dozen times. And I thought, at first I thought it was funny because I thought maybe it was more than one cat and they were all just trying to hit the litter robot at the same time. But the more I got to looking at it, it kept happening. So finally I narrowed it down to it being Diamond. So I called the vet and I said, look, I think she's got a urinary tract infection because we've been through this before. And I need to bring her in. And they're like, okay, fine, bring her down. Well, they were looking at her and he wanted to keep her the rest of the day to get a urine sample, which I was fine with. And then I mentioned that, hey, by the way, her ears have been bothering her. I said, can you take a look while we've got her here? I said, I think it's probably ear mites. Well, as he was looking, he shoved the Q-tip down. Well, like, didn't shove it down her, but he stuck the Q-tip in her and got to feeling around and pulled out some gunk. And when he did, she yowled real big and like it was painful. And when he pulled the Q-tip out, it was bloody. And he's like,
Okay.
well, that's not right. So he gets out his little, was it an otoscope? I think. He gets out the little thing and looks in her ear and he says, uh-oh. And I says, oh, that's not good. I'm like, what's uh-oh? And he says, well, he says, I'm not sure. He says, I'm going to have to look at it again, but I'm pretty sure she's got a polyp in her ear.
Okay.
And I said, oh. And I know what that's all about because I followed somebody on Facebook. They've got cats, and one of theirs had a polyp in its ear and it had to have surgery. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, it doesn't look like it's covering the eardrum and stuff yet. So, we could possibly be able to heal it up before it gets that big. And then he looked in her other ear, and sure enough, she's got ear mites too, on top of having a polyp in her ear. So anyway, he in the process of all this, that it was painful enough, she gave us a urine sample right there on the table. So he got a little syringe out, took that. Sure enough, he took it out in the back on the microscope. And he's like, I didn't even have to look through it at the microscope. He said there was enough crystals in her urine that it sparkled like a disco ball. I'm like, oh, all right then. So you're telling me the cat's got pretty urine. Yay! So, $150 some later, I've got 2 different types of antibiotics because one goes in her ear and one is for the urinary tract infection. And he gave me some medicine for ear mites, which was nice. I only had to put it like on the back of her neck because it's like flea drops too. So at least she, wouldn't skin me alive. And he said, keep an eye on the polyp. He says, if it gets bigger, we may have to do surgery, but she's also 6 months away from being 10 years old. So if you know anything about like older animals at all, a lot of times they want to steer you away from surgery because sometimes the anesthesia is hard on them and sometimes they don't wake up. So I think
that goes for everybody, for the record.
Right. So so I think he's a little leery about having to do surgery if this polyp gets any bigger. So
Okay, now I have to ask the question. This is a question of ignorance because, like, I know, like polyps in the in the uterus. So, I'm assuming they're kind of like cysts.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we're talking about a polyp in the ear, is this more like a zit or a cyst, or
yeah, I'd say
is it
so,
open
something like
sore?
I think it's more like a cyst. I mean, admittedly, yes, when he stuck his ear in there or the Q-tip in there, I think he might have scratched or something that caused it to bleed. Because like I said, she bled pretty good because when she shook her head, a big old blood clot came out and everything. But obviously it was painful. So I'm assuming he might have like tore it open or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's like a skin growth of some sort. But he did make the comment that it wasn't big enough to grow over the ear canal. So there wasn't anything to be concerned of yet. And he, like I said, he sent me home with a tube of stuff that he said to put down in it. And he thought, from the sound of things, he thought maybe that would help heal it up and I guess hopefully shrink it or at least keep it from growing any bigger. So that was my diamond with a polyp. So
diamond with a polyp.
Yep.
That definitely trumps my battery issues. Although my battery issue, I think, is going to cost me more money than your issue. So batteries. Let's just talk about batteries real quickly. You love them and you hate them.
Right.
So I went up to see my mom. Part of my duties as the son is help mom with stuff she can't do. So I went up to Reno this past weekend. By the way, thank you to you and Robin, even though, well, I won't get into Robin. We'll just bypass all of that, but I love him still. But went up to see mom. She had somehow tore her curtain rod down.
Uh-oh.
And I realize now, upon looking at it, how and why they had torn the curtain rod down was because it wasn't put in with wall mollies.
Uh-huh.
They just screwed it into the drywall with just regular screws. And there were 3 screws per hanging, and there were like 3 hanging rod rails. Right. So I think they thought, right, oh, this will probably be enough, and I'm assuming my dad did this. Not, not enough because they got heavier curtains later on in life. These were supposed to be for little chiffon curtains, and they got
Right.
some actual heavy duty blackout curtains to hang on them. So
Mhm.
I had to go up, do the wall mollies into the wall. When, of course, where they hung the rods, and I tried to just go into the existing screw holes because
Right.
I didn't want to make more holes in the wall.
Right.
Work smarter, not harder. It's a good
Exactly.
policy.
Right.
The problem was a couple of them were right along wood frames, 2x4s, and so it's like,
Mhm.
all right, so half the screws were, half the holes needed wall mollies, and then a couple of them just needed, wood screws going into the wood. So it was a process.
Right.
Got that done. This has nothing to do with batteries, by the way, but I'll get to the batteries, I promise.
Mhm.
So then I changed out all my mom's smoke detector batteries. She gave
Right.
me her brand new batteries. She does this once a quarter. She's like a Nazi about it. She's really, really good about giving new batteries and get the old ones out. Did all of that. I got a phone call Thursday morning at like 6:30 in the morning.
Oh no.
Greg, my smoke alarm detector is beeping. Of course, my first reaction is, well, what the fuck do you want me to do about it?
Right.
I am literally over 2 hours away. I'm not making a drive up to change out a battery. So I had to coax my mom, and because my mom now that she's on her own, she's
Yeah.
a nervous Nelly. She
Ah.
doesn't, I mean, she's also 85. So
Well,
it's,
yeah.
strangers scare her, and a stranger could be 4'5". It still would seem like a towering giant to her. So
Uh,
I did coax her into getting one of the guys at the complex, the facility guys, just flag him down and help her out. And he did. Came in,
Right.
changed out the batteries for her. So that got fixed. And of course, along this battery journey, I started to think, you know what? We need to get the golf cart out from underneath all this crap. Because we bought the golf cart back in, October, November of last year. And we were planning to use it because we lived in Lincoln, which all of the city of Lincoln was pretty much golf cart friendly. Well, Roseville, not as much. And on top of it all, of course, we've had just stuff in the garage because
Right.
we moved in. We've got a lot of boxes, a lot of stuff just everywhere. And so the golf cart became like a storage closet, like, boxes and boxes of stuff were put. And I was just like, you know what? No. Everything out. Let's, get the golf cart back in road shape to just start driving it and use it. I turned the key.
Uh-oh.
Nothing. Batteries are just dead. Go to charge it. They're dead to the point that the auto charger won't kick in. So of course this is going to cost me $250 to get
Oh.
the golf cart company to come down, pick up the cart, go and charge the batteries and bring it back to us.
Ouch.
Yeah. If I had a car battery charger, I probably could work this through, but I'd be spending $180 and then I'd have this big ass battery charger sitting in my garage, which I don't want. So
Hmm.
trade-offs. But anyway,
Right.
so that was a little bit of a bummer, but at least I was able to kind of clean up the cart. It's good to go. I'm just need batteries. Just need
Yeah.
batteries.
Well, and I'm not the mechanic in the family, but I think next time to keep it from happening, you might need to get one of those like battery tender things that kind of.
Well, and so this was admittedly my fault because you
Right.
can plug the card in and it has a trickle charger on it to where it'll charge up and then come off. And
Gotcha.
I
Right.
just, because we parked it in there and I started up a couple times and it was like in half charge. And at that point I just should have plugged it in, but no, I didn't. And it went through all of the hot summer in the garage. So that really drained everything out even faster. So,
Yep. That'll do it.
but yeah, so there we go. Kim,
Mm. Alrighty. Sorry,
Antique
Mark.
Fair.
Yeah.
Let's talk funnel cake. Is
Yeah,
there a
do that,
type of
yep.
funnel cake you like? Or
Just
is
the
it
plain old funnel cake with the powdered sugar on it. They've got ones that you can put like caramel syrup on, and I've seen some with chocolate syrup. But I'm I guess old fashioned or whatever. I just like the funnel cake with the powdered sugar that you eventually spill all over yourself, and then you attract ants and that sort of thing. So
strawberry? No
although
strawberries? No apples?
they do. well, they do have some have. Now the place we were at, they probably didn't, but I have seen them, where they've had strawberries, and that sounds like it'd be good, and the apples. So I would probably do that. So
I'm hungry right now, so the funnel cake just drew my attention.
Right. And honestly, whenever we have like the big county fair or even this, that's what I tell people. I go there for the funnel cake because I don't know what it is. I mean, I know I can make these damn things at home, but it's always nicer when somebody else makes it and they got to clean up the mess afterwards. So
This is true.
So yeah, funnel cakes. And I got one yesterday. As a matter of fact, I split it between my sister and Anthony because, well, I didn't want to look like a hog and eat the whole damn thing by myself, but I could have. So they were good. And we have they call it an antique fair because they'll bring up like their antique quilts and antique cars, antiques, that sort of thing. And I think it's just a little thing that we can do, right when summer is like going to fall, that sort of thing. And we have a big car
in fairness,
show.
by the way, I did see it says in the show notes, Boomer and listeners, it says antique fair funnel cakes. So when I saw that at first, I'm like, what's an antique fair funnel cake? Like, is it a specific type of funnel cake? But no, I get it.
No, it was just basically about the antique fair, but these are the reasons that, I go.
I just really want to talk about funnel cakes right now because I'm really getting hungry, like rapidly talking about funnel cake.
They really are good.
They are
and
good.
all they are is just like fried pancake mix with, like I said, powdered sugar or whatever you decide you want to put on the top of the darn things, but they're really, really good.
You had them fried.
Right?
Yeah.
So every year they do this thing. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many years we've been doing it because they've been doing it ever since I was a little kid, and I'm 46 now, so that should tell you. But they have antique cars show up, like their Chevelles and Camaros, and I mean even newer cars. Some of the newer Camaros and Chargers and that sort of thing is all up there. And there's trucks and motorcycles, the whole 9 yards. I posted some pictures on Twitter last night of some of the stuff we saw. They had a Beetle there yesterday, and they had the VW bus or van or whatever you want to call it.
The new one?
No, the old one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they had that up there, and it's always fun because, like I said, my dad's a car guy, and when he was younger and lived in Kansas City, but right back before Fast and the Furious and Street Outlaws and all that stuff got on TV, they would actually street race.
Okay.
And so he would point out, and he had a 69 Chevelle and a 57 Chevy pickup and a whole bunch of things. And of course, he's a mechanic, so these things were all like, worked on to the max and would go the fastest they could go and that sort of thing. And so he would point out cars. Like he's like, yeah, I knew a guy in Kansas City had one of those. I beat him. So it's always fun to listen to my dad talk about stuff like that. And he'll be there randomly one day. We'll watch TV, and he's like, yeah, I knew a guy back in Kansas City back in the day, and we would go down this one highway and street race and between stoplights and yada yada yada. It's a good time. So that was fun, and they have a pedal tractor pull for the kids. And my nephew Anthony has been doing this since he was 4 or 5, and he's only managed to lose one race or one pull, I guess you'd call it, since he's been doing it, and he's 11 now. Well, of course, he signed up yesterday, and now Owen's doing it, and Austin and Colton, my brother's kids, are doing it. So all 4 of my nephews was in this thing. Of course, different age classes. They don't all throw them in there together because that wouldn't seem fair. But Austin and Owen were, of course, in the smaller ones, and they both did all right. Although poor Austin is 3, and I don't think he quite figured out how the pedals work, because he would like pedal with one foot, and then he realized he'd have to pedal with the other foot, and I think after about 3 pedals, he was just like, you know what, I'm done with this. So
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
don't blame
and then
him at all.
Colton did really well. I think he got a full pull once, and then he got beat by the next guy. But
I'm
Anthony,
so just biting my tongue on the jokes that I want to make right now. Full pulls, half pulls.
full pull, yeah, I know.
Completed the pull.
I cackled like an idiot the whole time. Even though, or one guy said it was a pull off, and I'm like, yeah, alrighty, here we go. But Anthony, in his weight class, he actually, or age class, not weight, that would be weird.
I was just gonna say.
But in his age class, Anthony won again yesterday. So yeah, so he was pretty tickled. And I mean, it was funny because at first he didn't want to do it. And then, I don't know, I think he saw all the other nephews decide to do it, and he figured, okay, one of these days I'm going to be too big for it. And he says, I'll be able to do it again. So he did, and he won. And then they even had a pedal pull for the adults. They had a bigger pedal tractor there. And my sister kept trying to be talked into doing it, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I told her, I said, now, if you do it, I'll do it. But she wouldn't do it.
Oh, she wouldn't do it. She was trying to talk you into doing it, but she wouldn't do it.
but she
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's typical. Like she wants to post it on Facebook and make fun of you.
do it.
Kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Especially if drinking is always the key. If you
right,
drink enough, you'll do it.
right.
Anyway.
So, and I wasn't drinking enough, obviously. I was pretty good yesterday. I stuck mainly with water because it was hotter in the hubs of Hades, and I didn't want to get dehydrated. So I stayed with water most of the day. At least till my brother showed up. He had some apple crown, and let me tell you, I don't drink much crown, but that stuff was pretty good.
Apple crown is good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like apple crown and what do you say, a white monster. And I don't drink monsters that much either, but it was really
works.
good. So yeah.
I mean, it's basically a spin on a vodka Red Bull.
Right.
Apple crown. I like monsters, especially the white monster or the zero sugar monster. It's got the blue M.
Right.
Both of those similar kind of flavors to me, and they're good for mixing with typically a whiskey or a vodka.
Oh, I remember that.
Anyway.
So that was our antique fair. Like I said, I walked, I don't know, I'm not supposed to walk a whole hell of a lot. It's not good for me. But I put in my 10,000 steps yesterday. But by the time I got home, my feet and my legs were so sore that it just wasn't even funny. I felt like I was bent over like Quasimodo. So I was trying to go do chores yesterday. I had to pack water down for the dogs and the barn cats. And my sister had called me, and I leaned up against the doghouse to answer the phone call. And we talked like 15 minutes. And when I got done, I went to hang up the phone and put it in my back pocket and get up and go finish the chores. My legs and my like back muscles had all like locked up and were spasming, and I'm like, I can't move.
Okay.
I looked at my barn cats. There was 3 of them, and I said, "You guys, I don't know what we're gonna do, but one of you guys may have to pull my ass back to the house because I don't."
Well, and
think I can walk."
that's the moment, Kim, that you realize the cats are useless.
Yeah,
They're
the cats
really
are gonna
utterly
eat me,
useless. At least
the
Lassie
dogs.
would have, gone and fetched somebody.
Yeah, I guess I could have seen if I
The
could
horse-
crawl over to the dog pen to see if
the horse
Percy
would
could've-
grab you and drag you in.
Hopefully,
The cats just wait for you to die so they can eat you.
Right. So that was an interesting thing yesterday. It took me a little bit before I finally got all limbered up and I could, go finish the chores and come back to the house. But yeah,
Okay.
so
All
it
right.
sucks getting old.
It does indeed.
So what'd you do next?
So, blenders. Let's talk about blenders.
Let's.
We have, I should say had,
Uh-huh.
a Ninja blender. Just basically just a really good solid blender. It has like the triple blades up through it that just like
Right.
crunches down on ice, all that good stuff. And my wife got into making smoothies.
Right.
It's like, you know what? Let's start doing smoothies in the morning. We're cutting back coffee. I've had 1 cup of coffee in probably 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
So
and you're
coffee,
still alive?
it's still alive, still functioning,
Wow.
doing the smoothies in the morning, protein smoothie in the morning. And so we started doing these, and I'm on board with it.
Mhm.
And then I get a phone call from Cindy, and she's like, "So I'm at Costco," which that's always the dangerous commentary. I'm at
Right.
Costco, and we bought a Vitamix blender. So that has taken the place of our old Ninja blender, which we
Those
have.
are supposed to be nice, but pricey.
Well, yeah. We'll talk about that in a moment. I'm still
Okay.
in a bit of sticker shock on that one.
I'll bet.
So the Ninja blender sold it off on Facebook Marketplace. I gotta say, I love selling crap on Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
And the key is you don't sell crap.
Right.
The key is sell stuff that is still actually in good shape, working order.
Right.
And usually, you can get it's not a lot. I mean, I think we sold the Ninja blender for like $30. They're probably going for like 80 new, if not a little bit more.
Right.
But it's $30 I didn't have, and
There
it's
you go.
better than just giving it away to Goodwill.
Right.
And what we end up doing is we sell stuff on Facebook all the time, and we just take that money, we put it into a little envelope, and then that becomes a date night, $200, $300 that we can just go splurge on a nice dinner or whatever.
Mhm.
But so blender sold, Vitamix. So I'm going to preface this now. This makes the smoothest. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how smooth these protein shakes are. They are smoothie smooths. So it's worth it. I'm not sure it's worth $600.
Yeah, I knew they were pricey. Oh my.
Yeah, but I can't deny the end product is awesome.
Right.
So we just keep loading stuff into it, blend it all up, and away we go. But yeah, and the amazing thing is you can just throw shit in there. So the smoothie I made this morning, it was carrot juice, orange juice. There was oh god, now I got to think of, there was some it's not fish oil. There was an oil in there, liver oil. There was spinach. There was bananas. There was some pineapple. There was some grapes. There was vanilla Greek yogurt, 2 scoops of vanilla whey protein, a little glucosamine, and seaweed, like a seaweed powder stuff that turns everything fucking dark green. Blended it all up. Tasted awesome and smooth. So one thing I hate about most like smoothies you get is you always have little chunks of ice that get caught in the straw, or chunks of the
or
fruit
a glove of
that
powder that didn't
Yeah.
like get mixed up. Yep.
So I can't complain. It is bearing fruit, if I make that pun.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah, but again, it was pretty expensive. So yeah, it's more expensive than getting my stupid cart fixed.
Right?
But yeah, and then just to cap off spending things on things, I bought boots, Kim.
You did.
Cowboy boots.
Wow.
$200 cowboy boots, but
Yeah, that's about right.
it's for a wedding in September. That is going to be a cowboy theme.
Gotcha.
And they're good friends of ours, and so it's like, okay, I got to pony up, look the part.
Right. Just remember, you want to wear them a little bit before the wedding so you can bring
I've
them in.
already been
Other-
doing this. I've
I was
been
gonna
looking
say,
ridiculous walking around in shorts and boots.
Otherwise, they'd be painful. So.
Yeah. And the weird part is, so the right foot, perfectly fine. The left foot, a little tight. Or I should say a lot tight. Actually, it was a lot tight at the store. It's gotten a little bit better. But I am buying, and waiting for Amazon to deliver it this day, as a matter of fact, the boot...
Stretcher?
what do you call it? Huh?
Is it a stretcher?
No, not a stretcher. It's basically for on the heel lift, so you can pull out of the boot easy.
Yeah.
Because trying to pull them off by hand, holy crap!
Yeah. I've got a boot jack for that. So
Yeah.
you just stick your foot in and you pull up, and there you go. So, because otherwise, I have the same problem. Mainly because I don't have the arm strength to do it. So.
Yeah, and with this, I'm doing a quick Facebook response because somebody's asking if something's available. I'm like, no.
Oh, I gotcha.
Pending pickup.
Gotcha. And another thing, if that boot continues to stay tight and you can't get it stretched out, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, but get it wet. Like go out and shoot it with a garden hose, and then walk around with it while it's wet, and it'll stretch the leather out.
Okay.
Yep, I
Fun
learned that a
fact.
long time ago. Yeah.
The other fun fact that I need to do is I actually need to buy some bootcut jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise, they're not gonna fit over those.
Yeah, so I like, I typically wear straight leg jeans, so they just
Right,
kind of
same.
fit tight over the top of the boot, and it's like,
Right.
it looks a little funky. So
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah, boots. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Also,
no-
Kim, the NFL preseason finally over.
Woo! Yeah,
We're
and I'm
ready
proud of you.
for-
Well, the Chiefs lost. Yeah, I'm like, it's the fucking preseason.
I know. I didn't read too much into the preseason,
Right.
though we do need. My Chargers desperately need a backup quarterback that can actually function.
Right.
I'm looking at Carson Wentz on the Chiefs, and I'm like, that was a smart pull. He can weather the storm should Mahomes ever go down.
Right.
But
Let's
yeah,
hope that doesn't happen.
let's hope it does. Anyway, all right. I think that does it for everything. Anything else on your end? I know it's been raining.
Well, actually, it's also been raining kittens. You guys already know about Short Round, the last
Right.
little kitten I found, right? Well, last night, as I was hobbling back from doing chores, I come around the corner of the house to the front porch, the porch where I bring in all the buckets and stuff, and there was a little gray kitten in the grass. And I looked at it, and I thought, well, where the fuck did you come from? Because I didn't realize I had any kittens. So I thought about it for a while, and the mama cat had finally showed up from somewhere. I don't know where she'd been, maybe out in the pasture. I don't know where she brought these little buttholes in from. But I looked at it and I thought to myself, well, I can't leave him out here in the grass because if I do that, he'll be raccoon bait for sure. So I picked him up, and of course, or she, because I found out later it was a girl. I picked her up, and of course, she proceeded to flip the hell out. She scratched me on like my hand, and she tried to bite me, and she just screamed bloody murder like I was killing her. And Mama, of course, she didn't care because I've had her long enough. She knows I'm not going to hurt him. Right. So I put her in the cat carrier and brought her in the porch, and I thought, well, you're going to have to go in the yurt with the rest of them because I don't have anywhere else to put you. And like I said, I can't leave her outside because the raccoons will eat her. So I put her in the yurt, and of course, she's flipping out. The first thing she did was go and hide behind the litter box because, I'm big and mean and scary. Anyway, I come in the house after finding her. I went and took a shower and did some other stuff, and I thought to myself, you know what? Chances are she had more than one kitten. Maybe I better, and by this time it's dark, so I'm thinking to myself, I better go get the flashlight, turn the big light on, and go out and see if there's any more close by. Sure enough, I no sooner than get out the front door, shine the flashlight, one of the other cats is sitting like the end of not the end of the driveway, but like the end of where we park the vehicles. And he's looking at something, and I'm thinking to myself, what is he looking at? Well, then I shine the flashlight over there, and I see this cat, and I'm like, but it's small. So I'm like, okay, that's got to be another kitten. So sure enough, I get over there. It's gray, and Mama Cat's not very far from it. So I'm like, I'm sure enough, that's another kitten. Thankfully, this one didn't flip out nearly as bad when I picked it up. And it went in the yurt too. And she's also a girl. So, because I went and checked this morning when I went to clean the yurt out and check on Short Round and Squeaker. And so, yeah, we now have 2 more yurt residents because I don't let them outside yet because they're not real tame, and I don't want them taken off for parts unknown and then they get killed. So
but
I have
2
more
kittens. I feel like there's some missing in action here.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. But then she might have lost some when she was nursing them, or God forbid the raccoons found them and took care of them. Who knows? Or maybe she only had 2 because I've known cats that only have 2 kittens. Okay. So. But I've been keeping an eye out, but so far she hasn't brought any more up close. But they're all, they're all big enough. They all have teeth, so they can all start eating dry food now. And I think that's why she brought them to the house, because then she could wean them off and they could start eating with the rest of the cats. So either that or she's like, hey, I know a stupid idiot that will take you in. So
that is there's like a notice, I think, outside your property.
Probably.
Cat Haven.
Right.
Yeah. All the cats know.
There's a network, and that's where they're telling them to go. So
it's the Underground Cat Railroad.
Yep. Yep. So I have 2 more, so that brings the official number up to 12 in the yurt. So.
Okay, I was going to say, because it's not 12 total. We know this is a lie. It's far more than 12.
I've lost a few over the summer, but these are the 12 surviving kittens. So.
But just the kittens. This does not count the adult cats.
No, this does not count the adult cats.
Apparently, there's 500,000 on the property.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My sister laughs and calls my house the cat sanctuary, which she's not, too far from it, I guess. So.
Oh, and I think you could become a nonprofit if you wanted to.
And you know what? I've been seriously kicking that around just to see if I could raise enough money that at least I could start getting them fixed. So.
There you go. The Cat Whisperer.
Right?
Indeed. By the way, Boot Jack. This is the name I could not come up with. Thank you, Boomer, for that.
Yes.
No hat, Boomer. By the way, I can't be a complete poser, so I'm gonna go suit jacket. I'm debating like nice jeans, nice boot jeans versus some suit pants that actually can deal with boots,
right.
And then obviously the boots, and they're black and gray. So
you're not gonna get you a pair of Wranglers, huh?
My wife would like me to. And so I will for sure at some point be getting a pair of Wranglers, because
there you go.
She says boots and Wranglers, and she gives a little thumbs up sign. I'm like, okay.
Right. Yep,
Date
she
night.
knows what she's
Here
talking
we go.
about. Oh,
and shout out to Lord in the chat.
Yeah, Lord just showed up.
Yeah. So he's missed all the fun conversation around blenders, batteries, cats, and funnel cake.
Right.
Oh, and boots.
And boots, yeah. Bolo tie, yeah, there you go.
No bolo tie. Can't do the bolo tie. See, again, not going with complete poser look. Just, addressing where I feel like I can pull it off and still look normal.
Right.
And I say normal in quotes, not that
normal
cowboys
enough.
don't look normal, but I'm not a cowboy, so there's that.
That's all right. Well, I'm proud of you because there'd be a lot of people that would try to, do it all up and try to pull it off, and they would just look stupid.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you
Yeah,
credit for that.
I
And
can't
it's
do
funny
that.
though. You've got a wedding in September. I've got a wedding in November. Ironically enough, it's the day before the Extra Life Marathon. So,
Ironically enough, the wedding is the day before I fly down to Los Angeles for the Charger game.
oh boy,
So I will be hungover as shit getting on that plane to go down
Right.
and drink more.
right.
But yeah.
Oh,
All
fun
right.
times.
Don't worry. You only missed cat talk, boot talk, battery talk, and what else? I forgot. Funnel cake. The funnel cake
cake.
was probably the most compelling conversation out of the entire segment.
Right.
But we can't talk about games, so let's
Yeah.
do that
Alrighty.
now.
Today I feel like playing computer games. Today I feel like playing computer games.
All right, Kim.
Yes,
We have we've got games to talk about here.
we do.
All of the August games, I feel like that's already been. We're at the end of the month. I don't
Right.
think we need to go through that again. So we're not gonna rehash.
Right.
And it's one of the things my wife gives me a hard time about. She says I'm a rehasher. She's not entirely wrong.
Right.
I do tend to just revisit the topic. It's a family trait.
Gotcha.
You talk about what your sister did. You go through the entire ordeal.
Right.
And then somebody starts from the beginning all over again, and you talk about the entire ordeal all over again
Yeah.
within the same conversation.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've been known to do that too.
But
so.
yeah. All right. We're not going to do that, though. We're going to talk about frogs, Kim. I want to talk about frogs and detectives, which is an unlikely coupling, but
Right.
here we are.
I know, right? Alrighty. Frog Detective is on Game Pass, and I don't know what I was doing. I think I was just bored, and I thought, you know what? That does look like something I would play. So I fired it up and played it all of 15 minutes before I shut it back off. So
Yeah, this
Basically-
looks like one of the worst looking games I've ever seen in my life.
right, and I mean, I'm sure it's good. Apparently, it's got a lot of good reviews to it, and I guess if you can get past so what it looks like, I don't know. I'm not a snob, I swear, but I don't know. I couldn't.
Graphics are important.
Yeah, I just couldn't deal with this because basically what it is, you're a frog, you're a detective. There's like 4 different cases, and I just start out with the first one, and you get sent to this forest. I think it's an island or something. Anyway, apparently I paid attention, and you've got to figure out what is in this forest that is haunting people because apparently there's a bunch of scientists here and they're scared and they don't want to go in the forest because I think something is going to get them. Well, I went there and did the thing, and I mean, basically, I went to talk to people, and then they would send me back for, like, one guy wanted a magnet for whatever reason. I don't remember now why the hell he wanted a magnet. So I went to a table like 2 feet away, and there was a magnet. I'm like, you couldn't do this. So I got him the magnet, went back, and then he told me to go talk to so and so, and then they wanted something. It's like one big freaking fetch quest is basically what it was. And you're like, if you give me a bag of hammers, I will trade you this plate of spaghetti, which then you go talk to somebody else. They will trade you the plate of spaghetti for whatever it is they've got. And I don't know. Like
Can I just say, this looks like something I would draw in 5th grade.
I know, same here. Or maybe I draw now because I can't draw to save my life. But anyway, that was the frog.
Is it
Detective.
voice acted? I see a bunch of different characters here.
I don't know because I had the volume turned down because I was playing on the Steam Deck, but I don't think there was. If it was probably just like random little squeaks and noises. So
yeah,
I don't think
the
there
graphical fidelity of this game is just amazing.
Yeah, right.
And the fact that it has loading screens,
Right.
What the hell's it loading?
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure somebody else will play it and they'll love it, but I couldn't do it.
I don't blame you.
Game Pass or not. So
yeah,
the Haunted Island. That was the first case. Yeah.
All right, well,
Yeah.
good for you for attempting.
I tried.
Yeah. You know what? I did check out, Kim.
What did you check out?
Had nothing to do with frogs.
Thank God.
So Gamescom happened this past week, right?
Right.
And within that, there was like the surprise announcement for Starfield that they dropped a vehicle into the game.
Right.
And so I checked out and have played with the new Rev 8 vehicle. And
Nice.
I gotta say, it feels pretty natural. It reminds me a lot of the not the original Mako. What was
Oh god, that
the
thing.
second Mako in Mass Effect? I can't remember the name of it.
I don't know. I just remember the original Mako, and it gave me a gigantic headache. So
Yeah, well, there was the one vehicle that it was like the Mako, and it got stuck on a lot of things, whereas this has that verticality rockets to where you can kind of get yourself out of any trouble.
right.
It's pretty fun to drive. I like it. I've been using it.
Good.
It gets you around a lot faster than just trying to run.
Yeah, because I know that was something a lot of people were complaining about when Starfield first come out. There was no way you had to walk or whatever, all these different things, and that was kind of a pain in the ass.
And that was the problem. I mean, the if you're going to knock Starfield for anything, the biggest knock I would give it is that its exploration was, lacking in two areas. One is, you could walk around forever and just kind of explore where you were at.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start picking up stuff,
Right.
once you get to being quote unquote over the weight limit,
Right.
you can no longer fast travel. So, and that's I think it's a typical Bethesda thing, right? But
Right. Yeah.
the problem is, you're exploring, you're mining minerals, and now suddenly you can't fast travel back to your ship. And if you went out on a big exploration, journey,
Mm-hmm.
now suddenly
Right.
you're having to hoof back and retrace your steps. It added layers of tedium to the
Right.
game.
Yeah. I'm having nightmares of Skyrim, and you've become over encumbered. So
Yes.
then you got to drop shit somewhere, and
Precisely. I mean, you
Yeah.
still can fight, you still can do all the combat and stuff, and you still can get more.
right.
But then you have to unload it all, otherwise you can never fast travel to anything. And so,
Right.
needless to say, this is a welcome addition to the game. But I'll still use fast travel when I can.
Right.
There's an interesting combat element to this as well, because the vehicle does have rockets on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious to see. I mean, I suppose you could use that for hunting different animals
Right.
on the planet.
Well, and I
Um,
saw in the video there that gigantic dinosaur-looking thing, so I suppose
Yeah.
they'd be good for that. So
You go out and trophy hunt, find a
now
giraffe. and
I
kill
have
it.
a question. You said fast travel. Can you fast travel from this thing to the ship, or from the ship back to this thing?
That's a great question. I think. Well, so no, you couldn't fast travel to the ship and then back to the rover.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like making it two fast travel points.
Right.
Unless the only way you could do that is if it's a explored destination. So you uncover a lab out in the
Mhm.
middle of nowhere, right? And it says you've discovered lab whatever. Once you discover something, usually you can fast travel to it from the
Right.
ship, from there, that kind of thing, back and forth. So you can do that
Okay.
unless you're encumbered, in which case.
Then you're screwed. So I guess then
Yeah.
you'd park the rover somewhere close to some checkpoint somewhere, and then you could, because I'm just thinking if you fast travel back to your ship, do you just leave
Well,
the rover out there, or
No, and it'll come with you. So if you left the
Gotcha.
rover there and you just got on the ship and left, the
Right.
rover will magically dock back into the ship.
Gotcha.
And I was kind of bummed because I wanted like an animation of the rover coming out of the ship,
Right.
but when you exit the ship, the rover is just there. It's like they've already unloaded the rover and it's parked right next to the ship, so you can just jump into it and go.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, Rover. It's a nice addition to the game. I think it adds another good layer. They've been doing a lot of good work in Starfield. It continues to be a game I'm just really enjoying coming back to. So yeah,
Good.
if you've been wanting I'll call it a Jeep because it kind of reminds me of like a buggy Jeep. This is it's worth checking out. It kind of handles, by the way, I should say, it drives a little bit like a Warthog in that, in kind of.
Right.
the newer Warthog, not the original Halo Warthog. So the
Right.
newer Warthogs basically are using the thumbstick to go forward and kind of, start and stop with the right thumbstick, and then the left thumbstick you would use to kind of steer. That's more or less kind of how it works.
Gotcha.
The booster rockets are, I think, the Y button. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, it works.
Good.
And you could use that, Kim,
Mm-hmm.
if there was, say, a hidden cat. You could
Oh.
go try and find that hidden cat.
Gotcha.
Or
Well,
you could just play the game that you've been playing.
Yeah, you could. Well, I got all jealous because Robin went to Italy, so I I decided to fire up hidden cats in Rome, which basically all this is one of them like hidden object games. Basically, you go and you find there's like 100 and some cats scattered all over this. Well, it's basically a picture, and you go, you find the 100 cats, and they put like I don't know what to call them, celebrity cats or whatever in it, and you find those, and you get more points for those.
So this is just basically Where's Waldo?
Yeah, basically.
It's Where's Waldo with
And-
cats.
Yeah, it was really cheap on Xbox. I think I only paid a couple of bucks for it. And yeah, that's basically what you do. You go, you find the cats.
If you had paid more than a couple of bucks
I
for this,
know.
I would have been
yeah,
like seriously like,
I
Kim,
wouldn't have spent more
time
than
to
that
take the
on it,
cards
be
away.
fair. I know, right? But well, I had like a $50 Xbox credit, so I figured that was good. So yeah, that's basically all it is. They do have some different levels. If you find all the cats, then you unlock some different levels to go find more cats. And I don't know. Like I said, it's a good time waster. I don't know. I like these things because it makes me feel like I'm less old and that my brain is not slipping like I think it is. Because some of
I
these
mean, time wasting definitely comes to mind. And so I have to ask, actually,
Right.
this whole time, yeah. So we've got it on screen.
Right.
So you start coloring in the picture, and I'm assuming the goal is to make the entire
Yes.
thing
Yeah,
colored
if
in.
you find a certain amount of cats in the section, if you find them all, then they will color it, and then that's the goal. Is eventually once you find all the cats, the whole map will be colored, and there you go.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like a brain. I don't even call it a brain thing or what, but it kind of makes me feel somewhat smart because some of these cats are harder to find than you think because they blend in really well. Some of them, like they had a couple that were like straight up in a tree, and it's like I don't. I had to use a hint for a couple of them. I'm like, how in the hell do you call that a cat? But okay, whatever, fine.
See,
It is
okay,
what
so
it is.
to me, this is
Mhm.
the ultimate phone game.
Pretty much.
However,
Yeah.
it would be impossible to play on a phone because everything's so small.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you say you were playing this on the Steam Deck?
Yeah.
How the hell did you see it?
Well, you can. I think it's one of the trigger buttons. They will bring it in closer, so that way you can blow up the screen so it's a little bigger for whatever section you're looking at.
All
That's
right.
what I do. I break it down into sections, and I go like one section at a time, find the cats, and move on to the next one. So.
I expect Lord and Boomer to come back with book reports on this. They need to play this.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Let's talk about a real game, Kim.
Okay.
A real game with some real silliness.
Oh yeah.
You described this to me,
Right.
and at first I was like, we don't need to talk about this. But then, fish heads,
Yes.
cat heads,
Yes.
fishfection in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
All right. Well, everybody's played multiplayer at any length of time in COD, especially here lately. They always have like one little fun little game mode they'll pop in. Like
Right.
there's arcade, and that's kind of like Super Fiesta and Halo. They have all like the big power weapons in there you can get and do that. And so this week it was a version of Infected, but they called it Fishfection. And basically what it is you start out as a cat person, which is hilarious in its own right because you have a cat head, but when they show like the pictures of your hands, you have human hands. So you have a cat body, but human hands, which really freaked me the hell out, but whatever. And the infected, if you can't guess from its name, are fish, and they have giant fish heads. So the only difference with this is you don't use guns. You have a bow, and you have spears. Plus, you have 2 proximity mines and 2 shock sticks, which is how I got most of my kills was proximity mines because I suck at both the bow and the spear.
All right, and
And
I
of
need to
course-
call out real quickly. I have not seen a spear. I've seen bows and I've seen knives.
Well, there is a spear too. That is the
Okay.
second one.
Just want to
on
make
the
sure
cat.
we're not
Yep.
confusing a spear and a knife because
No. There
Oh.
there are spears. And as a matter of fact, there was just one laying on the ground there a minute ago. Because with the spears, they're not unlimited. You only get 2, and then you have to go and pick them up. because
Okay.
you know. So anyway, that's what it's fun to a point, and but unless you're like me and you can't use either the SPO or the spear or the bow, or the SPO.
The SPO.
It's kind of like a spork, Anyway.
Greatest
But anyway,
utensil ever.
Yeah, but yeah, there's the fish heads. You can see them running on the screen now. And believe it or not, in my entire time of playing Infected on COD, which is also funny because I call it COD, and here we are playing as fish. I actually won a game of Infected here Friday because we did our first Femme Fatale Friday. Nobody showed up, but that's okay. I'll do it again.
I really wanted to show up, by the way, Kim. That was unfortunate timing on the work front.
Yeah, I understand. Because Boomer's like, well, I would have showed up, but I was having it while he worked. So that didn't work either. So,
Yeah.
But, whatever. It's fine. Like I said, I get it. Not everybody's schedule is going to work. But anyway, me and a bunch of randoms were still cat people. We hadn't been infected yet. And we found a spot on the Greece map. Greece as in the island, not not actual like Greece. And all we did was lay out proximity mines, and the fish had to come to us. And of course, there was enough proximity mines laying around. They would blow up, and we actually won a match of Infected. So I was pretty tickled about that.
Now, real quickly, so when you kill the fish, they turn into cats, or vice versa?
No, they just die. No, the fish are the infected. So if we started as cats, so when the fish kills you, you turn into an infected or a zombie, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah.
Okay.
And actually, one map I didn't exactly get how I thought maybe they just threw one infected person in there randomly, but no, they will give you a countdown, and then they will give you another countdown after that's over so they can decide whoever they're going to turn infected. And one match it was me. So
okay.
So I started out as the cat, but when the countdown for the infected stopped. Boom, I was the infected, so I got to run around and knife people. So that was kind of fun.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fishfection. Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of wacky.
It is wacky. All I could think of is that fish heads, smelly fish. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sorry I missed that. I genuinely am sorry I missed Fishfection. I will do my best, Kim,
all right,
to get back and play Fishfection with you.
Or anything. I told Boomer, I'm on Fridays. I'm kind of open to just about anything as long as multiplayer. The only thing that I kind of draw the line at is probably PUBG because I'm terrible at it. So.
Oh, but it's so good.
I know.
So unless you're playing with Robert, you're playing with Snoogans. He's kind of shit at it, so it draws. Makes you feel. Less great about the game, but yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that more later. So
yeah. By the way, I have not played PUBG, and I could not tell you how long. I keep on looking at it, thinking I should fire it up, but every time, and this is the problem with live service games, I have to admit. And somebody actually in our chat, I think it was Matt N, was talking about it. He logged into the Call of Duty screen to play the multiplayer or the single player campaign, and he was just like, "Oh dear God, the dashboard screen." He's like, "What the hell?"
Oh, I know.
I feel that way about PUBG as well. All of these live service games, especially when they're doing these updates and they start doing season battle passes and they start adding clutter to the screen. The PUBG interface is horrific.
Right.
It is one of the worst user experiences I've ever seen in my life. And it's just, there's workshops, there's opening boxes, everything that was simple about the game is now complicated, and because they're always trying to figure out another way in which to get you to spend money.
Right.
So anyway,
Yep.
All right. I guess that's it for the games, but we do have news. If I can find my news clip audio, I think we're good.
All right.
Here is the fucking news.
All right. So first and foremost, Gamescom happened. I legitimately forgot Gamescom was last week. I start seeing all these notifications and stuff coming through, and I'm like, oh yeah, Gamescom. So, I guess the one takeaway is there's nothing really new or exciting that came out of Gamescom.
Right.
There's a couple things. So we'll talk about the biggest announcements. Borderlands 4. It's coming 2025.
Right.
I'm kind of like in a I don't care about Borderlands anymore mode, and
Right.
partly because of the movie. Um, it really soured on me,
Ah.
and it made me also think back to the games and realize the premise of the games was also kind of stupid. I think the
Yeah.
first game captured everybody's attention because it was one of the first looter shooters. And everybody was all excited about the fact that you got all these weapons and you constantly were churning weapons and attachments and making them better. And it was new and different.
Hmm.
And then it just was repeat and rinse. And I don't think they've really evolved the game much from that. And so I feel like there's all kinds of other games out there that do it. And so it's kind of like, well, what really is unique about Borderlands? Is it the story? Well, it's not terribly unique or exciting. The voice acting can be good, but it also sometimes the writing is kind of crap. So I don't know. I'm not excited for Borderlands 4. Are you? I think you
Well,
used to be a Borderlands gal. I was gonna
yeah,
say guy.
but I didn't play 3 because for whatever reason it just didn't do anything for me. I don't know why. Now I did want to play the Tiny Tina one, and I did buy it. I just haven't because it was D&D in Borderlands, so that
Right.
Worked for me. I can't say I'm excited for 4 just yet, and I wasn't really excited when they showed it on there either because I knew it was coming. Now I didn't realize it was coming in 2025, but it had already kind of been spilled on Twitter or X,
Right.
whatever. That they already said they were working on Borderlands 4, so I can't really say I was uber excited over that either. So I don't know. I need to see more because, like I said, 3 didn't really do much for me. So much, in fact, that I didn't even buy 3. I haven't played 3, so
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I guess it is a bit wait and see. Mafia, the Old Country. I'm cautiously excited for this. I didn't really see anything from the announcement trailer. I just saw the announcement. So
Right.
I love the Mafia games, though. They've been overall really good. So somewhat excited for that. That's another 2025 game. I'm going to cover through everything 2025, and I'm going to circle back to the important one that came out of all of this. Dune Awakening, also coming 2025. Again, until I see more or maybe some previews, it's hard for me to get excited for any of these games.
Right.
Arc Raiders is another one. Looks somewhat interesting. Till I see more, I reserve rights to be overly excited for it, but that's also coming 2025. Those are kind of some of the biggies that were kind of newer.
Right.
And then just for Lewis, our good friend Lewis, Plain
Right.
Skills, he got his PSVR 2. He's all excited for it. And I saw Batman Arkham Shadow coming to VR. It's going to be a VR experience. And then I saw it's only going to be on MetaQuest 3.
Oops.
So,
Sorry, Luis.
yeah. But that is VR is not totally dead yet.
Just close.
Yeah, I know. And then so we did get a date for Indiana Jones and the Great
Right.
Circle. So December 9th, 2024, it's going to be coming out to Xbox and PC. And then the big hammer dropped, and it's also coming to the PlayStation 5 in spring of 2025. We don't know
Right.
when exactly, spring. And this, of course, created a big shitstorm of everybody being like, oh, it's no longer exclusive. They lied to us,
God,
blah,
yes.
blah, blah. And I think at this point, if, all of the Xbox fan base needs to take a deep breath and understand Microsoft's strategy moving forward is going to be exactly this. It's all of their first party games will come day and date to Game Pass Ultimate. That's they want you to spend the big dollars for the Ultimate Game Pass, and you will be assured all of their first party stuff coming to that Game Pass subscription day one, no questions asked.
Right.
They will also release other games, and it will be a hodgepodge of games. You're never going to know what specifically to PlayStation 5 and PC. Well, PC, you pretty much know they're going to be doing it, but PlayStation 5 in particular, or Switch. And it's funny because I hear a lot of people being angry that they don't just say it up front, or they don't give us a roadmap or just make all of them available. This is the hook. Microsoft wants you to understand, if you are a subscriber to Game Pass Ultimate, you're covered.
Right.
You will get all of these games, no questions asked. They'll be there. If you're a PlayStation 5 owner, you may get the game, you may not. They're not going to tell you anytime soon until, maybe a few months out, typically speaking.
Right.
And they're not going to guarantee you're getting everything. And so the catch there, or the idea, I'm assuming, is if you really want all these games and you want to ensure you're getting all these games, Game Pass Ultimate. If you're happy to wait and see if it might come to your console, stay where you're at. But
Right.
there's no guarantee it will. So, honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm a Game
me
Pass
neither.
Ultimate subscriber, and I'm locked into that ecosystem until the day they start saying, "Oh, well, this isn't coming to Ultimate
Right.
day one."
Right.
Then that narrative changes.
Right.
Okay. So that was it for more or less that from Gamescom opening night. Valve did actually announce a game called Deadlock. I guess this has been out already, kind of leaked out. But Deadlock is a 6v6 third-person hero shooter. Valve did warn people that gameplay is still early in development, and the current build of Deadlock contains a lot of temporary art and experimental gameplay. And this is primarily because I think what was leaked was from kind of a beta alpha, or maybe it's an alpha version of the game. So they don't want people thinking this is the final build. This leads us to our next big controversy.
Yes.
Controversy. Avowed. Speaking with the Iron Lords podcast, art director Matt Hansen called 30 frames per second the bare minimum the team is aiming for. It's a first-person single-player shooter game. A first-person single-player game. You don't necessarily need that 60 frames, and that allows us to get a lot juicier with the VFX and lighting and all this other stuff. It's a trade-off we opted to make relatively early, and we're really happy with that. The game's running pretty smooth for how visually dense it is, and that was always our goal. So, of course, this just erupted into a shitstorm because
Of course.
it's the
Typical.
internet.
Yeah.
People running around, 30 frames per second is unplayable. Okay. 30 frames per second is not unplayable.
Right.
You may very well have a preference to play 60 frames per second or 120. I get it. But running around crying that 30 frames is unplayable. When I hear the unplayable part, then it's just like, okay, no. Now you're just being hyperbolic for either engagement on Twitter or you're just being an asshole.
Right.
So my new plan is if I see you saying that, I'm just going to block you. So this way I don't ever have to see your stupid comments again in the future. Unless you're a friend and I know who you are, in which case I'll give Robin a pass. But yeah, so
craziness. People like to be butthurt about things. I'm finding it. I mean, I've known this for years because I've been on, the internet for a while now. But it seems like in the last few years, it's gotten worse. They just want to be upset about something. They're not happy unless they're mad. So,
I mean, you weren't like crying and just throwing fists at the air when you saw this was 30 frames per second, or that Indiana Jones was going to be coming to the PlayStation 5.
Oh my God! Right? Yeah. After the Indiana Jones thing was announced, and I got on Twitter, and everybody's like, why are they even telling it that they're console exclusive anymore? Yada yada. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, people.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to shift to a couple happy notes.
Okay.
Sea of Thieves has reportedly surpassed 1 million sales on PlayStation 5.
Way to
Surely
go.
this makes every fanboy console warrior happy to hear.
I would hope.
No, I think this is a good milestone. It proves some of their strategy on going multi-platform.
Right.
Again, select titles. I have, by the way, firmly confident we will see Forza Horizon 5 eventually come to the PlayStation 5. It just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then another just kind of little nice note that came out from Gamescom, or the time. I don't know if it was actually in Gamescom or if this was just something else, but basically a new adaptive controller. Xbox is putting out an adaptive joystick This is part of their accessibility program.
Mhm.
And so what I found interesting about this, so if you look at it, it looks like kind of like a Joy-Con.
Yep.
And you can basically 3D print additional attachments to it if you want to do something different than what that comes with the controller, which I think is more or less like a standard thumbstick.
Mhm.
It'll work with the adaptive controller that Microsoft has built out, but also you can just plug it into your PC. And that's where this becomes a little bit of an interesting thing for me, because one of my biggest gripes with the PC is I hate using the keyboard for movement.
Yep.
If I can use this for my movement
Right.
and still use my mouse, I'm just saying,
There you
kind
go.
of a game changer. So,
Yeah, it's
it
only
will-
$30. So
yeah, $30.
I mean,
It's going to come out in 2025 sometime. So I might be picking one of these up.
there you go.
Yeah, I will say, I actually did back another not a GoFundMe. What the heck was it called?
Kickstarter.
Yes, Kickstarter. Thank you.
Mhm.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Anyway, there's a Kickstarter for a thing called the Hex Pad, and
Mhm.
it is very much like this. And it's meant to be with PC gaming, where you plug it in and on your, you basically control your movement with your left hand, and your mouse is going to be your aiming with your right hand.
Right.
So anyway, so I'm happy to see these kind of devices being built, being made. Not only because it makes it more inclusive for those that might struggle with traditional
Right.
controls,
Right.
but also for somebody like me that struggles with keyboard and mouse.
Exactly. That's why I bought a Steam Deck. So
Yeah. When you have a Steam Deck, it kind of, the keyboard mouse warrior people can't make fun of you. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm on a Steam Deck.
damn right.
Stop making fun of me."
Right.
Okay, Kim, why don't
Yeah.
you cover some new releases, and then take a deep breath after you do that, because we're going to do a quick quiz.
Oh boy. Alrighty. All right. Well, let's do new releases from August 25th to September 1st. Oh my God, can you believe August is almost over by now? Jeez.
Yeah, but that means football's here, so
That's true. Like I said, the Cardinals are second lately, so I'm looking forward to the Chiefs doing better. Alrighty, your new releases for this week are World of Warcraft: The War Within for PC on August 26th. I almost said October. God, don't give me that far, Edda. All right, Core Keeper for the PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Switch on the 27th. Emio, either way, The Smiling Man for the Switch, August 29th. That was also the one they had a big thing about, because I thought it was going to be some sort of survival horror thing, because it had a guy with like a grocery bag and a smiley face on, and well, then they found out it's this and it's not survival horror. But anyway, Gory Cuddly Carnage, which is the cat that kills zombie unicorns. I thought it was kind of fun. I don't know. I played the demo the other day. It'll be out for the PC, the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Switch on the 29th. Gundam Breaker 4, PC, PS5, PS4, Switch, August 29th. Monster Jam Showdown for the PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Switch, August 29th. One I am personally looking forward to is Squirrel with a Gun. I swear to God, I've seen the video for this thing, and it looks freaking hilarious. And it is what it says it is. It's a squirrel with a gun. It'll be out for PC and I believe Xbox, because I saw it during Gamescom, and I think they had it up with the Xbox stuff. So I think it's coming to Xbox. I don't know when. But anyway, it'll be out for PC August 29th. I've already got it on my Steam wish list, so I'll probably buy it there anyway. Visions of Mana for the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and PC, August 29th. And last but not least, I think there's some people that are looking forward to this, at least last I knew, and that is Star Wars Outlaws for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S on August 30th.
All right.
And those are your new releases.
I can't lie. I keep seeing Star Wars Outlaws, and I'm like, oh, I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need. Do I need this? I might need this. No, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't.
Well,
I might need it. I might need it. I have not done. So typically, I go down this rabbit hole, and
Right.
then I'll at some point reach out to my other brother,
Right.
Mark, and I'll say, "Do we need this?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's the gauge,
Right.
Because we both have backlogs that are just insane.
I know
But
the feeling.
I like the new shiny, And I'm not gonna
I
lie,
know,
this
all the time.
does just it. After all the disappointment of all the Star Wars shows of late, this is kind of scratching that itch.
Right.
By the way, I was more than happy to see the Acolyte not getting a renewal.
Right.
Fuck
I wondered
that
about that. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay, well, yeah.
Well, if all else fails, you can always wait for it to go on sale. I do that.
Well, that's Steve
Yeah.
Conger was talking me off the ledge a little bit, and he's like, just at least wait for a few patches because it's a Ubisoft game, it's going to have a ton of bugs.
Right.
So-
Because I kind of want gory, cuddly carnage, but I think I'm going to wait till it goes on sale, or with my luck, it'll go to Game Pass. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? Importantly, Kim,
Right.
All right, now everybody get settled. Get
Here
away
we
from
go.
the windows. Now look, good. It's time for the quiz. Yeah, you know what? Oh, too bad. Tough.
all right, here's the deal.
All
We're
right.
going to do the Metacritic quiz.
Right.
You have 3 games, Kim, that you are going to have to guess the Metacritic score.
Right.
Our audience participation is welcome. So, Lord, Boomer, I'm calling you both out. I expect you to be spot on with your score predictions.
Oh, boy.
If you're not, it's okay. Because honestly, there's no prize here. It's bragging rights.
Yep.
But here we go, Kim.
Alrighty.
Pull your mind back a long time ago in a
Okay.
galaxy far away. The year was 2022.
Alrighty. So far away.
Totally far away. All right. First game, Kim. Are you familiar with a little title called Elden Ring?
Sort of. A little bit.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, Elden Ring came out on the PS5,
Mhm.
the Xbox Series X and S,
Right.
and it also came out on PC.
Hmm.
What score do you think Metacritic sits at for PC?
Well, if
Just
I
the
remember
PC
right when
version.
it came out, yeah, and if I remember right when it came out on PC, it had a few hiccups. If I remember correctly.
A hiccup in the giddy up?
Yeah. Kinda like
Everything's
me
going to be a
sometimes.
cowboy reference now that I have cowboy boots, by the way.
Well, yeah, well, all right. Well, that's like you can just tell me I've got a hitch in my giddy up, so I know what that
Let's
means.
hop along.
Yep. So, Elden Ring on PC, yeah, if I remember right, it had quite a few hiccups when it first came out. So I know it's a good game, but I think I'm gonna guess 88.
88. 1988. That was the year I graduated high school.
Ah,
All right, 88. I think that's a decent guess. It's a fair assessment. I'm giving Boomer and Lord just a smidgen of time to get their scores in. I see
Right.
nothing from them right now. They're probably panicking. Probably pooped
Probably.
their pants a little bit on this one. No, the actual score was 94.
oh,
It
well.
was lower though than
Right.
the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox when they came in at 96. So,
Ah, all
so
right.
there you go.
Well, Boomer said 80, so.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
Boomer, come on, step your game up, son. All right. Where to go next? Let's go to the land of the PlayStation 5.
Alrighty.
Now, PlayStation 5, when the console was announced, it had a lot of exclusives
Right.
that were paired up for it, and some of them were third-party exclusives. That was really difficult for me to say. Third-party exclusives. I think I said bluesives. Anyway,
Yeah, well, I'll let you go.
Babylon's Fall was
Oh.
a PlayStation 5 exclusive to the launch window,
Right.
although it didn't quite make the launch window.
And I don't think it did well.
This was exclusive to the PlayStation 5. Kim, what do you think Babylon's Fall had for the PlayStation 5? Metacritic score, mind you.
Hmm. Yeah, and I don't think it did well.
Now, when you say
Mainly
you don't
'cause-
think it did well, does this mean do you think it just bombed, or do you think it was like just underrated?
Well, I know it definitely. Well, I don't know. I haven't played it, but I know that it apparently didn't live up to the hype that I think they were trying to build up for it. Because
I mean, most games don't live up to the hype
that's true. Because I don't remember hearing much about it pretty much after that. So.
So
Babylon's
what do
Fall.
you think, Kim? Babylon's Fall.
84.
84.
84. Boomer
Boomer
says
coming
70.
in with a 70. Thank you for
Wow.
playing Boomer. He's trying to undercut you. That was the right move, Kim.
Yeah.
Go low,
Uh-huh.
but go lower.
Oh,
So I'm going to give you another shot, Kim.
okay.
You know, the floor right now, we're talking 70. Boomer put it there. That was the
Right.
floor. And I say lower.
Lower than 70. All right. 62?
62 is a fantastic guess.
Okay.
But
Not the white one,
lower.
probably. Lower than 62. Holy
Yes,
shit.
indeed. Lower than
Well, I knew
62.
it didn't do well.
I mean,
just didn't think
Kim,
it was
you
that
already
bad.
shit the bed by saying 84.
Well, right.
So, yeah. This is just now
51.
torture on my pen, but
Right.
So
Yeah, right.
what did you say now? Sorry?
51.
51.
It's probably
Again,
lower than that.
An excellent guess.
Yes, but it's lower
but
than that.
lower.
Holy crap. All right, 33.
No, it came in at 41.
All right.
41
Wow.
Metacritic score. That was
I knew
it's
it
a
was
rough
bad.
go
I
for
just didn't
Babylon's
think it was
5.
that bad. Holy crap. Yeah.
And I
wow.
think a lot of people that did play the game said it wasn't deserving of a 41. Probably wasn't. But
right.
But 41, that's where it sits on Metacritic now currently.
Wow. That's pretty bad. Ouch.
All right. One last game to talk about here. We're
Okay.
going to turn the page and we're going to get into a tale. A Plague's Tale, mind you. Plague's Tale Requiem.
Yes.
Came
the rat
out
game.
on the Series X and S. It was a Game Pass launch, as a matter of fact. Also
Yep.
PC. But for the Series X and S, what did that game score for Metacritic?
I think it did reasonably well. And I remember you guys played it, or somebody did. And I know they really seemed to like it. It put me off.
Like
'cause,
reasonably well for like a 41?
Well, I'd hope it was. I'm pretty sure it was much higher than that. I mean, good enough. They actually gave it a sequel. So, I mean, obviously, it put me off because of all the rats. I just, I can't. No. I'm gonna say 90.
90.
Probably high, but probably closer to 87 or something. But
This is the dramatic pause, allowing the chat to catch up a little bit and
gotcha.
post something in.
Right.
Of course, it'll be wrong. It's Boomer. We know. Just kidding, Boomer. Just kidding. We love our chat.
He's probably thinking, why the hell did I tell her I was going to show up today?
I know. He's just been picked
All
on the
this
entire
crap
time.
I'm getting, you know.
So okay. So here's the thing. You said 90, and then you said it's probably close to something like an 87. You should have gone with that gut instinst. It came in at 85.
Ah.
So yeah. So a good score. And a good game. I have played it. Some of the puzzles, again, just based on kind of the quirkiness of the controls and having to kind of do a little bit of fetch questy stuff to get something and then pull it back in, to light stuff on fire, those kinds of things. Sometimes they're a little obtuse in terms of how to get to the solution.
Right.
But overall, enjoy it. Good game. And 85, reflective of that. So there we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you didn't fail completely. Two of your guesses were within, 6, 8, 5 points. And then, of course, you had the massive 43.
Babylon's Fall was a really big fall. Let me tell you.
I should try doing a little inflection there. Babylon's Fall.
You did, and I didn't catch it.
Yeah, that's okay.
I didn't catch it as it fell. Anyway.
Touche. All right. That kind of does it for the quiz.
Yep.
We're at that point. Let's just do a couple of community notes, if you will. Kim.
Sounds good.
Not only do we play Fatal Fridays, we also play Halo Wednesdays.
Yes.
What time do we typically play these games, Kim?
Well, 2 o'clock's my time. So
2 o'clock your time, which would be about 12 o'clock in the West Coast.
Right.
8 p.m.-ish in the UK. And look, by the way, for people like Martin, you've got kids, you're putting them to bed. And, sometimes you have to delay getting on because you have to put the kids to bed.
Right.
I think you need to take some responsibility, think this through ahead of time, drug your kids a little bit earlier. So this way they fall asleep faster. And I say drug, liquid melatonin. It's legal. There's nothing bad about it. It just helps them fall asleep a little faster. And so you give it to them at say 6:00 right after dinner, and they're asleep by like 6:30.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Problem solved.
Parenting tip.
Anyway, so Kim, Halo Wednesdays. You and I try to make it as much as we can.
We do.
Me more than you, and that's just
I know.
because I'm a Halo nut.
But I do like Halo. I'm just terrible at it. So.
And we have fun. We have
Yes.
fun. All are welcome. Depending upon the size of the group, we'll either do a squad-based game or we can do some custom games. It just really depends upon the week and who all shows up.
Right.
Now, Femme Fatale Fridays.
Right.
More or less Call of Duty themed, I think, at this point. Is that the vibe?
Kind of. I mean, I did that Friday because, well, right now Call of Duty's on Game Pass. So, I mean, all you gotta do is download the multiplayer bit of it.
Should we call this FemCat Fatal Fridays?
Maybe.
Cat heads?
There you go. Well, I don't think there'll be cat heads next weekend because I changed that up. But you never know. But I'm like open. If we want to play Halo instead, I'll play Halo. Like I said, the only thing I'm kind of iffy about is PUBG, but I could probably even get talked into playing that. But I'm like awful at PUBG and Fortnite. I'm not very good at that either. So I'm worse at those than I am at Halo.
There's ways of easing you into it. I will just say there's kind of like a bots mode, which still has some of that anxiety that the game brings. Well, that's actually why I really like PUBG. There's a level of anxiety that just you don't get in other games, even in their battle royale modes.
Right.
Anyway.
But there's Battlefield too. I'm open to playing bots on because with Battlefield you can play bots and still get XP, which is nice. And the bots are stupid, which is good for somebody like me who's pray and spray.
Yeah. So. By the way, the bots in Halo, you can set the difficulty on them, but typically speaking, they're not completely shit.
No, even just recruit, they will still light your ass up because they've killed me more than a few times. I will say. Admittedly, I'm terrible at Halo, so I mean, a kindergartner could probably light my ass up, but whatever. So yeah. Anyway, Fridays, it's not always gonna be COD. It could be Halo. I'm pretty open. We can play Battlefield. Hell, we can play Party Animals. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care. Yeah, whatever we feel like doing. I've got Hypercharge, so we could play that.
Okay.
If it's multiplayer and we can play it on Game Pass, I'm good with it. So.
If it bleeds, you can kill it.
There you go. So I guess maybe I need to do Mark's idea, maybe put up a poll or something every week and be okay. This is what I've got.
Look, Mark put up a poll. It was in his living room. He hurt his back. That's part of the reason why he's not on the show. So
right, yeah.
I don't advise putting polls in your house. By the way,
no. I would look like Elaine from Seinfeld, by the way, and nobody wants to see that shit. So,
but really, let's just talk about this real fast. I'm sorry, I'm going to total divergent tangent. Okay. This whole notion of putting a pole in your house. I mean, the moment you walk through the door, and if you're like, maybe you're visiting your neighbor's house, whatever, and you see a freaking stripper pole, either in the living room, which that would be really odd, or say in one of the spare bedrooms, whatever, and they say, "Oh, I do the pole yoga."
Yeah.
Is your instant thought bullshit?
Yes.
That's my instant thought.
Yep.
So, no.
Mine is
bullshit. Yeah. All right. Yep. So, Boomer, get the stripper pole out of your garage. We know you're not using it for anything other than things we don't want to think about.
Well, the funny story about that. There is, and believe it or not, in my neck of the woods, well, not like where I live, but in my neck of the woods, there is a nudist colony. And many years ago, friends of mine from St. Louis would come up because it's a forested area and they would deer hunt there. So they would let them stay at the nudist colony because they've got like cabins and all sorts. And they've got the main part of it, I think, is where they have like lunches and whatever. And in one corner, I shit you not, there is a stripper pole and a little stage. So I'm assuming,
I'm just going to say this now, pineapples and poles.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what that.
Yep. So anyway, that's my little stripper pole story. Because we went out to meet the hunters one night because they're kind of like family. And I'd never been to this place before. And I walked in and I don't know, for whatever reason, I happened to look over in the corner. And that was the first thing I saw was this little stage with a stripper pole. And I like, is that what I think it is? And they're like, yep. I'm like, oh my God. So.
I think, anytime you say nudist colony, it's like code word for swingers club.
Oh,
That's what it really is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind, I'm sure, and probably a lot worse out there. So that's why I don't go there.
Speaking of a lot worse.
Potato!
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Kim, let's do some shout outs.
Alrighty. I'm gonna shout out Boomer and Lord. We had another guy in there, but I'm pretty sure he's probably a bot or something. I don't know. I just haven't banned him yet. So Boomer, Lord, thanks for showing up in the chat. It's about time he showed back up, Boomer. I don't know where you were at last week. No, I do. His sister was there, and so he's forgiven.
The pole in the garage. Just
I know, right? Well, maybe he's got to make some extra money somewhere. He does like to buy records. So, maybe that's how he's paying for his record addiction. I don't know.
By the way, OnlyFans. Okay, another tangent. Is that not just exclusively just for people to just do like naked videos?
Yeah, well,
is there any other thing? Is there any other thing you could think of that you possibly would say I want to pay a subscription to for something on OnlyFans other than just watching somebody do whatever?
Well, I can't. But they say that's originally why OnlyFans was started. It was for the sex workers. So, and then
which makes sense because,
right?
Again, what else would you be on that platform for?
Right. So, and then other people started to take over for like feet pics and all sorts of things. So,
is that not the same line though? I mean,
yeah. Well, yes. It's a fetish like anything. So, yeah.
Nice beaver.
Exactly.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Had to.
There you go. So yeah.
Right.
But anyway, like I said, Boomer, Lord, thanks for showing up. Everybody have a great week. We're going to be under a heat advisory for the next 3 days, which I'm not going to complain about because last week it got down to like 55 in the morning and I just about froze to death. So bring on the heat. So anyway.
Bring on the heat.
That's enough for me. I'm going to hand you over to Greggles and let him do his thing.
All right. Kim, well, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Robin. Whatever. Robin had apparently a very rough night.
Apparently. Holy moly.
Dancing, partying. Okay. I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I do. Hold on. I'm gonna pull this up. Okay. Let's just talk about this real quickly.
All right. We shall.
Will be a very low-key evening. A few pints of Guinness, a bottle or two of red, and probably on the wrong side of 10 whiskey sours.
Oh my God.
That was, I mean, that's a hangover recipe right there.
Right? I would have had to stop at the whiskey sours, much less all the rest of it. Holy cow.
I mean, depending upon the whiskey sour, because look, you can make a whiskey sour pretty light.
Well, yes.
And so it's not so bad, but I'm guessing, Robin's like, give me the 3-finger pour.
Right.
And so, I'm sure they were not stiff drinks. So
right.
Yeah, that to me, I'm likely on the verge, if not already throwing up. Probably after the 5th whiskey sour.
Right.
I mean, I suppose it depends upon how much of those bottles of red that I actually got into. Mm-hmm. But assuming I had 2 glasses, 2 pints, and I'm just saying 2. He said a few. Again, that could be 3 because a few is more than 1, more than 2, maybe. Because why would you not say a couple? So
right.
I'm thinking 3. I'm thinking 3 pints, a couple glasses of red wine. I'm already schnockered at that point.
Right.
And then these whiskey sours on top of that. That is an added layer.
Oof.
Now Robin said he remembered to take the magic powder, so that saved him.
Right.
I'm not sure if he's talking about powdered Viagra, so he could have a night with Judith. Or I do recall he has this magic powder mix that he does to prevent hangovers. Kind of like a charcoal-esque.
Well, now, didn't you try that at Vegas? Or was that Robin?
Yeah, so I have some stuff called Party Smart that I take. It's a little pill. And it does a fine enough job. The thing is, you have to take it while you're drinking. And the problem is, of late, half the time I forget.
Right?
Like, fuck. But I haven't really been drinking that much, of late on top of it all. So alcohol definitely hits me a little faster.
It does me anymore. It didn't used to, because I can remember the days when I'd play Xbox basically all night long, and I could drink a 5th of Fireball and not have an issue. Can't do that now. So
no, not can't.
No.
But that's and the thing is, when I do drink and I play games, I then become obnoxious. Like if we were anytime we were playing Forza or driving games, I was the guy instantly like bumper cars. And
That wouldn't bother me.
well, yeah, but I mean, piss Robin off. Robin would be
Well,
trying
yeah.
to get like good racetrack, lap times, and he was all about that. And I'm just like,
Leroy Jenkins!
and
Yeah,
I
there you
would,
go.
I would just pile drive into him, and or he got wise, and then he started avoiding me as he was like going down the racetrack. But that made it even funnier because here I am just like driving slow, watching him rearview mirror, waiting for him to come, and then trying to cut him off. Half the time I was successful.
Right. My problem is I'll get to drink it and I'll find everything funny, and then I will laugh uncontrollably. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. It's bad.
Anyway, all right. Hey, shout out to everybody else that might be listening to the show either today and or tomorrow or in the future. Thank you. Come back next week. We'll be back next week. We'll do another show. We'll talk about some funny stuff. We'll talk about cat detectives. Hopefully not.
Probably something. I don't know. There'll be
Let's
something
definitely
cat-related, I'm
not
sure.
talk about frog detectives
Oh,
or
God,
hidden
no.
cats in Rome, Kim. I'm
All
just
right.
saying.
All right.
But
I'll
I
find
promise I'll bring something new to the table. How's
Oh,
that?
all right.
Something we
Okay.
haven't played yet.
Oh, really?
That's
Interesting.
my plan.
All
And on
right.
that note, we're out of here. Come back. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.